MiniArt 135th RSO Workstack Craft Bargain Part 2 Next Level Chipping. Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, really good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. Right, so in recent times I have been constrained and subtle with my chipping and my wear and tear. And I think it's time my true nature came out. So, my plans for this one are that it's going to be a really worn vehicle. Because it's going to be like not a frontline vehicle. It's going to have lasted quite a long time. It's going to have taken some wear and tear in a nasty environment. So we're going to go full on chipping and rust on this one. Let's get into it. So here's the cab, all primed in VMS Black Primer. It went together really nicely, and I love these little RSOs because they got so much space in the cab, so you can see exactly what's going on. Let's get on to painting it now. The instructions called for Hell Blau, which is a light blue. So this is Blue Grey Pale by Vallejo, and I'm just going to give everything a really good coat in that. Because it is so light, it will give us a really nice canvas to work on, and also once the cab is all put together, all those details will still be visible. If you had gone for Dunkelgrau, for example, then you would have lost the detail. Now I bought myself the Rust Colours set from AK 3rd Gen. This is a great way of getting paint because they come at a reduced price, and they come as appropriate paints for what you want to do. They do loads of these sets, and this is probably the 5th or 6th one I've bought now. So these are the paints I'm going to be using from that set. So there's chocolate, which is the chipping colour, dark rust, medium rust and light rust. There are 2 others that I didn't use. So let's get on to the initial round of chipping. Now the first stage is sort of wear and tear on the paint. So for this I am using pale blue grey, which is just a really light grey with a bit of blue in it. So I'm just going to use a sponge and just go over these sort of high wear areas. What I'm trying to do is do almost directional chipping. So on the vertical surfaces there'll be chipped more at the top, and then gradually that will get less towards the bottom. On the floor I'm going to do it sort of horizontally, so I'm going to go maximum chips at the door, and then almost tracing the pattern of where the feet would go. So once they're through the door, then they would go forwards and backwards. So I'm mimicking that with the sponge, and then obviously doing any corners and raised edges and that sort of thing. The interesting thing about the RSO is that the fuel filler is just behind the passenger seat. You can see it there just by my thumb. So we will bring some oil streaks into that at a later date. here we are, just working my way around the cab, and this is what really brings chipping to life, because this is the say the initial chipping of just the slight abrasions on the paint color, and then in amongst these lighter chips, that's where the dark chips and then later the rust will form. So once that's finished and dry, we can come back in and we can map out the actual chips through to the base metal. So this is chocolate, which is the chipping color. Now this is lighter than I would normally chip with, but it seemed to work quite well. So I'm just putting this into the lighter chips, trying to leave like a halo around the outside of the lighter chips, and trying to make it random, not matching the shape of the lighter chips, just making it look like the paint has chipped all the way down to the base metal underneath. And again, concentrating on edges and corners and places of wear and tear. And then it's all about bringing life to it. So it's bringing in randomness and different colors, using the rust tones that are in that rust pack that I showed you before. So this is dark rust, and I'm putting this on top of the chips. Not all of them, just some of them, and not covering them entirely, just tiny dots. It's all about being subtle at this stage, but this will just start bringing it to life as we bring in more colors with different intensities, and trying to make it come to life. Okay, next step, and again it's more of the same, but this time it's with medium rust. And each time we go up a layer, the colours become brighter and much more vivid and intense. So you have to be really controlled and careful with them that you don't overdo it. And then the last colour is light rust, and this one really is a really bright orange. So I'm really just going to put tiny touches of this. You can see it even at that scale how bright that is. So yeah, just on very small selected parts. Not going to go over the top with this one. Okay, now for a weird, not really a weird step, but a step that's important, but this is a weird time to do it, but this is a pin wash. This is using AK Streaking Grime for German grey vehicles. I just wanted, because this is an enamel paint, I wanted this to not be affected by any subsequent oil paints that I use, and I know that this cures pretty quickly, so I won't remove it once I come to blending oils, basically. And I'm doing this really diluted, just around all the raised details and into corners and that sort of thing. It's hardly noticeable, but it is there and it does make a difference. So it's definitely worth not skipping this part. But again, it's does the shading before chips occur, or do chips occur before dust gets into crevices, that sort of thing. So it's always something that I'm trying to weigh up in my mind about the order I do these things. And so this was purely for operational purposes, and the fact that I can get this on, get it dry, and then work with some oils afterwards. Right, so let's talk about oils. This is Light Rust by Abteilung 502. Now, normally I would use this oil paints to make my rust effects, but I wanted to try the acrylic paints out, and up until now I've been extremely pleased with how they came out. So all I'm using these oil paints for is just to provide a rusty haze through the paint. So this is to mimic rust that's bubbling away under the surface, and just almost tainting the grey, and giving that rust haze. So I'm using it very sparingly, very dilute, and then when I come and blend it away, as I say, it's really only like a rusty shadow, but it really works. So there you go, you can really see that coming alive now. Just by putting the oil on there, it really brings it to life. It's not noticeable, really, and as I said before, it just sort of taints the grey colour, and makes that rust really pop. There we are in close up. Look, you can see how that's really come alive now, and it's the effect that I wanted. Yeah, happy with that. Right, this lovely lady. Let's get on to really personalising the cab. So I found this picture online, printed it out, and then reduced it down to that. And you can see how small that is. And this is just going to be, as I say, just to personalise the interior by giving the driver his little sweetheart to look at. So I'm just cutting this out of print paper, and then we will stick it in an appropriate place within the cab. And it just, again, it draws the people's eyes when they look through the door. All this detail, I am going to have to leave the doors open, which you probably wouldn't do in the Eastern Front. You probably want your cabs to stay nice and warm. But we'll leave the door open, and then people can see all these details inside. So there it is cut out. And then I'm just going to use some MIG Ultra Glue just to put it in place. Now, of course, the great thing about the RSO is that it doesn't have a steering wheel to get in the way. So I was trying to work out the best place for this little photo. I tried it tacked to the, or as if it was tacked. Oh, if I can pick it up. Just bear with me. Bear with me. There. Oh no. There we go. So I thought about putting it on the dashboard, and then I thought about putting it above the window, and see that seems okay, but then that's where the engine housing comes through. So in the end, I settled on inside on the engine housing, just there, just so that he's always got her looking at him and keeping him safe. Also 3D printed a coat that I put in there, and spanner and hammer, water bottle and helmet, and I think that looks really authentic and lived in. And then when you get it all together, I think that looks really good. I've still yet to do the fuel stains, but I will come back to them, I promise. I'll go through how I painted the spanner, because I finally cracked old tools, I think. But we'll go through that at a later date when I do all the tools that go in the shed on the back of this little tank. Vehicle, not tank, vehicle. Yeah, what do you think, guys? Although it seemed over the top, I don't think it is. I think it's pretty good. The canvas seats look good. I've done that the way I do tarps with perpendicular dry brushing that I've covered before. Yeah. So there you go. I think that will do for this time. Thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. If you have, please give this video a like. It really does help. And give me your hype points, which is the new thing on YouTube. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.